Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another chapter in the Red Pill grief cycle. So I was having a conversation recently with a friend, and we got to talking about the whole Ubermensch, existentialism, nihilism thing, and just through the process of that conversation, I realized that the Red Pill grief cycle also mirrors the journey, or what I'm going to call the path of the Ubermensch. So let's talk about that. So it's actually really interesting. I'm not sure if someone else has made this connection or not. I don't know. This might be new ground. Who knows? Anyway, so at the beginning of the Red Pill grief cycle, you're in the in denial phase. You know something's going on, but you can't put your finger on it. That scene in The Matrix where Morpheus was spinning that coin around in his hand, and he's like saying, you have this splinter in your mind driving you mad. You just know something's wrong with the world, and you just can't put your finger on it type of thing. You have a choice at that point that you are now aware, but do you act on it? Do you try to learn more, or do you flee to the blissful ignorance of conformity? For the path of the Ubermensch or Superman, this is the phase of slave morality. The morality of the normies, the NPCs, clown world, so on and so forth. You gotta understand that the normies, the herd, they are the majority. And because we live in the era of democracy, majority rule, the morals of society are the morals of the majority. Since the average person is a dipshit retard NPC, their morality becomes the de facto societal morality. And so just like with the Red Pill grief cycle, you can deny the truth in front of you and flee back to the comfort of conformity, or you could stand against it. So at this point in the path of the Superman, step one is, do you reject slave morality? Do you at least question it? Do you want to move past slave morality? Or do you believe that slave morality is morality? That it's the only morality, anything which goes against slave morality is evil. If that's what you believe, then your journey stops here. So the next step in the Red Pill grief cycle is the Red Pill rage. This is where you know something's wrong, you acknowledge it, and you try to fix it, and you just hit your head against that wall trying to fix it, and you eventually fail, and then you reach the third step, which is depression, or the valley of suicide. So in the path of the Superman, this is the master morality. So you realize that slave morality is bullshit, that having a society based on the benefits and the self-interest of the herd does not benefit society. In fact, it causes society to regress and degrade and eventually collapse. And so you embrace master morality. You want to make yourself greater, stronger, more powerful. You value the individual. Now this puts you at odds with the herd, who are now going to look at you as selfish and evil, but fuck them. Who gives a shit? But this also means a period where you're going to get frustrated, angry, lonely. A lot of negative emotions are going to occur in this phase because you're going against the herd. And again, the herd imposes their morality as morality itself. Because the thing about the herd is they only care about themselves. So once you separate yourself from the herd, they're going to hate you. And this can lead to frustration and anger. The third step in the path of the Superman equates to the valley of suicide in the Red Pill grief cycle, and this is nihilism. And unfortunately, a lot of guys never get through nihilism. And some people even turn around. They talked about this in the Blue Shoot video. There's some people who reach this stage and they can't take it. They can't take the realization. They reject the truth that they've been offered, and they want to run screaming back to ignorance. They want to go back to the in denial phase. They want to go back to slave morality. Because nihilism is scary. And what is nihilism? It is the realization, it is the acceptance that the morality of society is bullshit. Not just the morality of your society, but all morality is subjective bullshit. All values are subjective bullshit. Life itself has no intrinsic meaning and purpose. Nihilism is the acceptance of something which is true. Morals and values are subjective. In fact, the subjectivity of value is the basis of modern economics. What determines the price of something? Not the labor, not the material cost, but the subjective value of that product. How much people value it. You can't put a number on that because, one man's trash is another man's treasure. What we value, the price we're willing to pay for it, is what determines the price of goods and services in the market. So this subjectivity of value is objectively true. It is observable within our world. But it's painful for people to accept that values are subjective, because if values are subjective, then morality is subjective. And oh my gosh, if morality is subjective, then what about my religions? What about my traditions? I don't know, buddy. Look, I'm just telling you what's true, and you have to make of it what you will. Some people can't handle that. Like that scene, you can't handle the truth. They literally can't handle the truth. And so they want to go screaming back to the dark ages of slave morality. But it's not the end of our journey. We're only halfway done. The things what people don't understand is nihilism isn't something to be feared necessarily. It's something to be understood and processed. It's part of the cycle. And you're never going to become a Superman or Ubermensch unless you go through nihilism. Unless you reject the morals and values of society. Because the next step is existentialism. This is how you move past nihilism. Existentialism is when you embrace individual freedom, personal responsibility, and you make your own values and morals. Rejecting the morals and values that are imposed upon you doesn't make you evil. You can still care about people. You can still love people. You can still value what is good for humanity. However, you're going to reevaluate the values of society. Case in point, gynocentrism, just as an example. Back in ye old patriarchal times, women didn't have equal rights to men. But society worked. Families were intact. The fertility rate was high. Societies actually grew, expanded, and spread rather than contracting and inviting other societies to come and replace them. However, this goes against the value of equality. And so we promote equality according to slave morality, and it is destroying the world. However, the only way you can see that is if you question the value of equality itself. Is equality a universal good? Or should it be applied selectively? Or should it be outright rejected? You can't even ask that question until you've gone through nihilism. And if you're still in the slave morality phase, that just sounds completely out to lunch, crazy, and evil. And I don't blame you for thinking that because you're a member of the herd. But once you get past nihilism, once you get into existentialism, it's not about just rejecting everything and shopping at Hot Topic. It's about questioning morals. It's about questioning values. It's about taking personal responsibility for what you believe. A Superman or Ubermensch makes their own values. They can be strategically selfish, but they keep in mind that they're trying to accomplish something great for humanity. And you have to separate people from humanity. Humanity isn't just a collection of humans. Humanity represents the idea of what it means to be human. And to promote and to improve that idea may even come at the expense of a group or even a majority of humans. Like I've mentioned before, people are fucking stupid. The average person is fucking stupid. So what do? Do you allow humanity to languish behind, to not improve, to not becoming more intelligent because we don't want to leave behind the dipshits? Or do we say, no, the idea of humanity, the ideal of humanity is more important than just a group of people. It's bigger than a group of people. Again, I can hear the herd reeing or bleating, depending on whatever. But yes, it's whatever. I don't care. I'm just letting you know, this strategic selfishness, there's a method behind it. And that method is the improvement of humanity and society. Not necessarily to the benefit of a group or even a majority, but the idea and the ideals of humanity and society. What humanity and what society should be and could be, not necessarily for the benefit of the people currently in it. So those are my thoughts. I know that depending on where you are, unless you're already at the end, once you've already gone all through this cycle, you'll get it. For those of you who are either in the middle of the cycle or even haven't even started the process yet, everything I'm saying is just whooshing over your head, and you're basically just calling me Hitler. I understand that. But you'll either grow and get it, or you won't. And it really doesn't matter to me either way. If you are incapable of going through this cycle and becoming a Superman yourself, then I don't give a shit what you have to say. You're not worth my time. You're not why I made this channel to begin with. So go fuck yourself. However, if you're on this journey, if you are facing nihilism and you're turning back to slave morality, go through it. Embrace it. It's not the end of the journey. It's just one point in a journey. Don't turn away from it. Face your demons. Get through it, and you'll come out the other side, and you'll be free. And for those of you who are thinking about starting this journey, do it. Do it. Cut your own path away from the herd. Be free. And to the herd, go fuck yourselves. This is Turd Flinging Monkey. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.